Iowa's plentiful recreational lakes and public beaches are a source of fun for all ages and deliver millions of tourism dollars to communities around the state. Each year, visits to Iowa lakes result in nearly $1 billion in direct spending on retail goods, gas, food, and lodging. Unfortunately, Iowa's beaches are threatened by harmful algal blooms, also known as HABs.
HABs are harmful algal blooms. These are caused by cyanobacteria, which are sometimes referred to as blue-green algae. Blue-green algae naturally occur in marine and freshwater ecosystems. The challenge is that some of these cyanobacteria are capable of producing toxins called cyanotoxins. You can't tell visibly if these bacteria are producing toxins or not, so anytime you see this growth of algae, we worry about them being a potentially harmful algal bloom.
Overgrowth of cyanobacteria occurs when there is increased availability of nitrogen and phosphorus. Blooms often form in slow-moving, warm water and accumulate along shorelines. The most common group of toxins produced by cyanobacteria are known as microcystins.
Microcystin is produced by the Microcystis organism. The way that you would come in contact with it is through recreation, primarily. So if you go to a beach and the toxins being produced by the algae, if you ingest it, you will get sick. So if you're swimming and you take a little swallow of water when you're swimming, it gets into your system. The other way would be if it's on your skin, you can sometimes get a dermal reaction. Although microcystin tends to be a toxin that affects the liver and the kidneys.
When people are exposed to cyanotoxins, you could have a range of health effects. So it could be something as simple as a mild skin rash to something very severe and serious illness, and in rare circumstances, even death. It could be things like hay fever-like symptoms, skin rashes, respiratory and gastrointestinal distress.
Normally, when you ingest microcystin, you're going to start feeling like you've got nausea, or maybe that you've got a little bit of an upset stomach. And that's when we know that it's potentially impacting your system with your liver in particular.
Pets can be vulnerable, also livestock, if they're drinking water that's contaminated with microcystins or cyanobacteria. It can be pretty severe for them. There's the potential for, say, pets that might be swimming or recreating in beach areas where there's been a bloom, that upon exposure can have difficulty breathing, fatigue, vomiting, diarrhea, leading to seizures and unfortunately death.
HABs can make it impossible to enjoy our beaches and threaten local tourism. Water management agencies, most prominently the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, monitor some public beaches for microcystin during the summer months. When microcystin exceeds 8 micrograms per liter, a swim advisory is issued. However, many lakes are not monitored. As nitrogen and phosphorus pollution continues to degrade Iowa's waters, it impacts recreation at Iowa lakes and threatens local tourism.
When we apply fertilizers to the landscape, not all those fertilizers are taken up by the crop. And it doesn't take very much phosphorus, for example, to leave the agricultural system and get in the water body for the algae to really go crazy and bloom.
Warmer water, more stagnant water that you might have in times of drought or low rainfall, that if they can combine with nutrients that are in runoff, and we know we have a particularly severe challenge with nutrient runoff here in Iowa, it's basically the perfect conditions for harmful algal blooms to form.
We are seeing increases in HABs, and not just the blooms themselves, but in the toxicity of the blooms. We know that we're seeing levels of nitrogen, for example, increasing in the state of Iowa. So our overall delivery of nitrogen is either been stable or increasing, and same for phosphorus. So with more nutrients, we'll end up with more blooms. We need to be proactive about dealing with these blooms and keeping people healthy, both from a recreation standpoint as well as from a drinking water standpoint.
Reducing agricultural nitrogen and phosphorus pollution is vital to protecting public health, the recreational value of Iowa lakes, and the economic benefits they provide for local communities. To learn more about harmful algal bloom impacts in Iowa and how you can take action, visit iaenvironment.org.